Hi, and welcome to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation focused on youth mental health. Before we begin today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that all content that is found in our podcast is created for informational purposes only. This content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or therapy. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard in this podcast. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast dedicated to youth mental health, resilience, and stories that inspire hope. Today's episode is very special. I know I am the host for Parent Series, but today I am bringing a teen who is a 19-year-old boy. He moved from India to the United States in search of better education and opportunities. But the journey wasn't easy. He faced new cultural norms, a new education system, maybe some language barriers, and moments of feeling lost. Instead of giving up, he chose to transform his challenges into a mission. He created resources, including a guide and an app to help other immigrant students make smoother transition. Today, we will hear his story of resilience, courage, and the power of turning pain into purpose. Welcome, Anubhav. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
I would.
you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to have you here. Would you like to introduce to our listener who are listening you for the first time?
Sure. Hi, my name is Anubhav and I am from Gurgaon, India, and I am currently studying at Lakeshore Technical College in Cleveland, Wisconsin. And I have made multiple projects regarding including an international student guide, DJ auto analysis website, Global Voices blog project, which I made because to highlight positive stories about the world in this very divisive age of social media, and a demo FAQ chatbot for my college website.
Oh my God, the list is so long, Anubhav. I am getting lost. I think we definitely will talk more about your great work, but can you take us back to the moment when you first arrived in the US? What were those first weeks like for you emotionally and mentally?
When I first came to the US, I had a feeling of optimism and nervousness, but I was very excited about this new chapter of my life. I liked my first few weeks because I got to visit the beautiful beach near my home, and it's America. Everything that I have seen in movies was something that I was seeing in real life. And I did feel a little lonely as I had no friends and I was missing my home. All of my friends were now enrolled in different colleges back home, and my life felt as if I was in a limbo in a very beautiful place. I started to learn more about computer science to keep myself busy, but still it felt as if the world was revolving while I was staying still at one place.
Anubhav, I can imagine what you went through. It's definitely normal when you're moving across the continents, new country, you don't have your friends. The good part, as you said, optimism. Your family is at least with you, and you are pursuing your new chapter of your life. But what was the hardest part of adopting? Was it language, academics, friendship, or something else?
One of the hardest parts about adapting was the unfamiliarity of the new place. I have heard of New York City, Los Angeles, but never of a small city called Sheboygan. I had no clue about the local culture or about how people are going to be Then I decided to enroll in the local community college as I had to continue with my education. But unfortunately, the course that I had enrolled in was online. At first, I was a little sad, but later I realized that it can be a golden opportunity for me to learn more in isolation and be more productive. I think I have a higher ability to evolve being alone.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, language was not really a barrier for you, and you had a very different perception of the US as you were mentioning in the beginning, seeing in movies, or you thought it will be a big city like Los Angeles or San Francisco or New York, but the reality was different. And then over the time, you accepted the reality and you started enjoying what you got. But another question to coming to my mind, were there moments when you felt like giving up? If there were, how did you move through them?
There were moments of frustration where being alone and also not being able to be good at what I was doing really made me question my ability to solve problems. But I would take breaks and I would try to think with a cool mind and tell myself that I don't have to turn my passion into a pressure on myself. Eventually, I started to solve my problems little by little, even if they took time. In programming, things get particularly frustrating when you know your whole code is right, but still you cannot see where you went wrong. You need to be very cool about it, otherwise, you cannot solve problems.
Definitely. So, did you get any help when you were frustrated, you were not able to solve? How did you overcome those challenges?
Honestly, I think you have to. mm, Honestly, I like to discuss if I have problems with my family, and they give me a second perspective on my issues. And considering programming, that is something that you have to be very patient and very cool with. And you just have to be very patient about it. Otherwise, you cannot solve any problems. And yeah.
That's great to know. Patience is a virtue, and you use that virtue to solve the programming language barriers or challenges. But many immigrant teens feel isolated or misunderstood. And you were also saying you did feel that in the beginning. So, what helped you cope up with loneliness or any other struggles, identity struggle, questions? Do I belong here? Why am I here? Why did I decide to come? So, any such things popped up in your head also?
I feel as an immigrant, I ended up feeling more close to my culture than ever before, as many things were still foreign to me. To cope with loneliness, I would talk to my friends back home in India. I think that really helped me as there is no one else my age that I know closely here. One thing that I often think about my identity is about my father and my grandfather's struggle. My grandfather was a refugee from the partition of India who lived in a small room with his mother and brother in a camp. He truly struggled to uplift his next generation. He had nothing at first, but at the end of his life, he had a modest fruit business. My father is also someone who truly inspires me as he decided not to take over my grandfather's business, which was by that time unfortunately riddled with debt, and to pursue IT when it was just starting in India. I think because of his decision, I was able to come to America. I feel sometimes that it takes another man's life to make another man's life. I would try my best to reach even beyond what my father has done in his life.
Thank you, Anubhav, for sharing that. I'm so glad you do have still friends in India. You are in touch with them and you have a very supportive family. You are drawing inspirations not only from your grandfather, but also your father. That's wonderful to hear. How about the new education system? Was it hard for you to adjust? Was it overwhelming? Any specific challenges did you face for settling into new education system?
Adjusting to the new education system was difficult as it was completely online for me with no peer interaction. But I feel like that I was able to slowly pick up more and more in isolation and use that to my advantage. I would often face frustrating challenges like a program not working when I did everything right, but I was able to overcome these problems by patience and not putting a pressure on myself. I feel like learning is a process like meditation that you have to just lean in and continue for a long time to truly achieve what you want.
Amazing, Anubhav. It's great you reminded us like meditation, it's a practice. It's not about perfection and it's a process. Daily, consistent practice is important. And I think that's what you are telling us. No matter what challenges are, if we have patience, if we practice, if we ask for help, we can overcome any challenges whatsoever. At such a young age, you are going through a lot. You moved across continents, you are adjusted to new education system, and you decided to even help others. So you were mentioning in the beginning you did some guide and app for international students. So what inspired you to turn your struggles into resources for others?
When I first came to the US, everything felt a little bit overwhelming. New systems and culture norms that I did not understand. I realized that many international students also faced the same challenges, but there wasn't a clear guide to help them navigate it. That's what inspired me to create a guide to take my own struggles and turn it into something useful.
That's great. What does that guide offer, and how do you hope it will make a difference for new students arriving in the US?
The guide offers events, mentors, tutors, and also we can ask questions to it. And I think it would really help for academic success and social integration and also daily life in the US. It's meant to help new students feel confident and prepared from day one. My hope is that it makes the transition smoother so they can focus more on learning, growing, and feeling at home more quickly, but it is still right now in a prototype phase.
No, that's wonderful, Anubhav. You have a great vision and you have a great purpose. I'm sure with your hard work, your dream will come to a reality, and many new immigrant students, they will take advantage of what you are building up. So looking back, what would you tell your younger self when you first landed in the US?
Looking back, I would tell myself that it's okay to feel lost or out of place and to not be afraid of making mistakes as they are a part of learning, and to focus on building your own path even if it feels challenging at first.
Absolutely. I'm so glad at such a young age you are learning those lessons and you're rather inspiring others. So, what advice do you have for other immigrantees who may feel lost, isolated, or overwhelmed right now?
My advice for other immigrant teens is very simple. It is to seek help, ask questions, and don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Even small steps like connecting with one supportive peer or exploring a new resource can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. So, Anubhav, how are you connecting right now with your peers or with the community? Is it still for you online courses, online education, or you are able to meet your peers?
I'm most of my courses online except one ethics class, and it's just a 2 hour class that I take every Thursday. One thing that I do is I volunteer every Monday at the food bank for pantry drive, and yeah, most of the people that volunteer there are much older than me, but I was really able to bond with them. And I think I feel very important. I like to just serve my community, and I think people really appreciate me for that over there.
I'm so glad to hear that. And absolutely, serving others brings so much joy to our own self. I always say giving is receiving. So, as you are also sharing with your journey, when you do help others, you feel valued, you feel there is a community for you and you are making a difference. Absolutely, I can relate with that. So, what message would you like to share with parents of immigrant teens about supporting their children better?
Well, to the parents, I would say that your support matters more than you think. Listen, encourage, encourage, and celebrate small wins, and to be patient as your child adjusts. Understanding both the emotional and practical challenges they face is key to helping them succeed.
I fully agree. I'm also a mother of two children, and I also learned in my journey I need to have more compassion and patience supporting my children for their journey. So, thanks for reminding us that. So, what I love about your story is the reminder that resilience is not about feeling lost. It's about what you do when you are lost. Like you were sharing your story in the beginning, you were lost, but you found ways to pave your own path. So our guest chose to transform his personal struggle into a gift for others. And that is mindfulness in action. If you are a young person navigating big changes like Anubhav was doing, take a deep breath right now and remember you don't have to figure everything out at once. Small step forward is enough. Anubhav, thank you so much for joining us today, sharing your inspiring story. Your journey shows us that challenges can become stepping stones, not roadblock. I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Feeling very grateful to bring you to this show. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
our listeners will also enjoy listening to your journey.
Thank you. Thank you
To,
so much for having me here.
to my listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving. Share it with a friend. And remember, resilience grows when we choose awareness, compassion, and courage. Thanks for joining us today.
You are listening to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation. As part of our youth series, we will be releasing new episodes every month, so make sure to continue to check those out. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we thank you so much for listening.